This is the big one. The 2025 FIBA EuroBasket is finally here, and make no mistake, this is the crown jewel of the Continental Basketball Championships. It is the rare event where national pride meets elite talent. We're talking about a tournament stacked with NBA and EuroLeague stars and some of the most passionate basketball fans in the world. We will get to see recent MVPs and all-NBA talent Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and many more duke it out with their national teams. The competition will be fierce and emotional, the crowds full and electric, and the stakes sky high. For these players, this tournament means more than any pro contract. It is about representing their flag, their culture, and their people on the biggest stage Europe has to offer. 24 teams, 1 gold medal, and months of build-up have led to this. Today I am breaking down the 2025 EuroBasket. We'll look at the contenders, the dark horses, the likely disappointments, and who I think will rise to the top of this incredible field. Before we get started, please do me a big favor and like the video, as it helps me out far more than I think you guys realize. Consider becoming a channel member if you want to support these videos directly, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I am trying to hit 1 million subscribers before the gold medal match, so let's make that happen. First, a breakdown of how the tournament even works. The EuroBasket will feature a massive field of 24 national teams, twice as many that competed in the AmeriCup. This is because the talent level in Europe is by far the most consistently high of the 4 FIBA regions. These 24 teams are broken into 4 groups of 6. Each country will play 5 round-robin matches against their group. The 4 highest-ranked teams will then move on to the knockout bracket. They will all then compete in a 16-team single-game elimination tournament, with the exception of the semifinals, where the losers will have the opportunity to compete for the bronze medal. This tournament is also a multi-host nations event. Each of the 4 groups will have a home country. These are Latvia, Finland, Cyprus, and Poland. And the knockout bracket will take place completely within Latvia. One more thing, similar to how the other tournaments operated, we will not have the official 12-man rosters for every national team until the day before the event kicks off. Sometimes later, unfortunately. But unlike the other 3 tournaments, there is a ton of coverage leading up to this event. Every single day, more articles are coming out talking about these teams, and plenty of their tune-up matches are easily available to watch online. So we already have a really good idea of who is set to play, but literally any day, unfortunately, this can change. If a player rolls their ankle between now and the first game, they may be forced to sit out the entire tournament as a precaution, which will regretfully hurt my prediction accuracy. But the show must go on. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into the teams. Starting out with Group A, the team I have finishing 6th will be Estonia. The Estonians are the lone team competing in Group A without a single NBA or even EuroLeague caliber player. Their premier talent is big man Mike Kalev-Kotsar, who competed last season in Japan. He's a solid post player who can knock down awkward distance hook shots and hit teammates for good looks, but he has a ways to go relative to the talent he'll be going up against. It may be in Estonia's best interest to opt to run a double big man lineup, as another intriguing player of theirs is NCAA 7-footer Henry Vesar, who gets above the rim really well, can rebound, and finish his teammates' misses. Around the perimeter, another name worth knowing is Janari Josar, who competes professionally in Poland. He's probably their most well-rounded creator and has a deadly 3-point shot that helped them big time in the qualifiers. Estonia's biggest strength is going to be their continuity, as most of their guys competed in all 6 of their qualifier matches. As much as we like to spend our time and energy talking about big-name players, sometimes it's the guys with more reps alongside one another who come out on top. But Estonia has a really tough schedule in front of them. It would be a major surprise if they took a top 4 spot. Finishing 5th, I'm going with Portugal. After going in with me not really expecting much, I must say that Portugal has surprised me, as they have been very competitive in their tune-up matches. Sure, no big upset wins against any contenders, but they are defeating the teams that supposedly are on the same level. The biggest name player on their roster who will be integral to any success they'll have is Neemias Queta. The NBA big man has the strength, length, and athleticism to do a ton of damage in FIBA play. When he catches the ball around the rim, very few can stop him from finishing the layup or dunk, but he is not someone who can create looks out of nothing. He needs guards to feed him the ball, and Portugal doesn't look to him as much as I think they should in their offense. They don't have elite European talent around the perimeter. Nobody who can orchestrate the half-court set and find easy buckets. Their shooting guards though, Diogo Brigo and naturalized player Trevante Williams, are capable of scoring a bunch, but I think it would be in their team's best interest to move the ball more and try to get the pick and roll going. Portugal might be able to pull off an upset, but it will come down to a crazy hot shooting performance from a cast of guys I wouldn't bet on. Finishing 4th and clinching a spot in the knockout bracket, I have Czechia. I acknowledge the superb guard talent of this Czech team. Tomas Satoranský is a FIBA veteran who has been the face of their national team for many years. He is an NBA caliber point forward who will flirt with triple doubles in each of their games. And next to him, NBA wing Vit Krejci gives them an elite floor spacer and rim attacker they can turn to both in the half-court set as well as in every fast break. These two guys are awesome, but Czechia has a huge problem with their interior. Their best center in the qualifiers, Andre Balvin, will not be competing in the EuroBasket, which means they'll be relying on some far less proven bigs to rebound and protect the paint. Their best center looks like it's going to be 23-year-old Adam Kejval, who has been underwhelming in both the Czech domestic league and in their tune-up matches. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Satoranský and company to rebound by committee, which likely will hurt the number of fast breaks they get. Especially in international basketball, layups are incredibly important. Having guys who can screen, roll, and finish or draw fouls, and on the other end bother shooters and limit second opportunities is what decides most games. The Czechia versus Portugal game will be an important one for these two countries, as it will be the battle of NBA caliber guards versus a big man. The winner likely moves on to the knockout bracket. Taking 3rd, I'm going with Turkey. I want to start by saying this is a really good team that has their eyes on a podium finish at the very least. Me picking them 3rd in Group A is just a testament to how talented the top 3 here are. They will be led by their naturalized veteran point guard Shane Larkin, one of the very best EuroLeague performers over the past half-decade. Larkin is an incredibly skilled ball handler and orchestrator who can score in crowds or create looks for others despite his smaller size. He also does a good job defending around the perimeter thanks to his strength, speed, and IQ, and most importantly, he can knock down the three-point shot at a superb rate. And he has an excellent cast of talent around him. NBA All-Star big man Alperen Şengün is likely going to be their leading producer offensively, as his ability to pick apart defenses with his passing and post work in the half-court set is a sight to behold. Their NBA experienced wings Cedi Osman and Onuralp Bitim can both attack the rim and space the floor. And they have multiple quality true centers they can turn to, either as backups or in a double 5 lineup. Adem Bona, Omer Yurtseven, and Ercan Osmani are all true centers who will give their opponents a very hard time on both ends. Turkey has the talent, coaching, and valuable experience in major competitions that you dream of for these sort of tournaments. They will be a very difficult out. But finishing just barely ahead of them in 2nd, I am picking the host nation Latvia. Lately, Latvia have been surprisingly dominant on the FIBA stage, including a shocking 5th place finish at the 2023 World Cup and barely missing the 2024 Olympics by only 1 game. And what's more shocking is they achieved these 2 finishes without their best player, Kristaps Porzingis, who is set to finally make his national team return after not appearing in a major tournament since the 2017 EuroBasket. Porzingis is a cheat code on the basketball court. His unreal size at 7'3" helps him be one of the best rim protectors in the sport, and pair that with his spectacular shooting that has been on full display in their tune-up matches, it makes you wonder how anyone could ever stop him. But as evident by their great finishes without him, Latvia is not a one-man show. In recent tournaments, former NBA brothers Davis and Darius Bertans have been lights-out shooters and great team leaders, and various European League standouts Richard Lamas, Christos Zorix, and Artur Zagars have all been integral to their on-court success. Latvia is a really dangerous team to watch in this tournament. Their games are going to be packed to the brim with passionate fans giving their players all the energy they can muster. But the team I have winning Group A will be Serbia. This may be the best team 1 through 12 in all of the EuroBasket. Recently, Serbia took the silver at the 2023 World Cup, then followed it up with the bronze at the 2024 Olympics. They have continuity, great coaching, and a decked-out roster of premier NBA and EuroLeague talent. It all revolves around their 3-time NBA MVP Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world who makes even the best professionals the sport has to offer look like children getting schooled by their old man in the driveway. Nobody picks apart defenses quite like Jokic, and even fewer can match his elite shooting ability both inside the paint and beyond the three-point line. Jokic will grab the rebound, lead the break, and create the shot regardless of who tries to stop him. He also is an underrated defensive player who does most of his work before the shot goes up, pushing people out of the lane, picking off passes, and bothering every shot near him. Porzingis is probably the only person in this group who comes close to matching up with him defensively. And when the inevitable double team tries to swarm him, the amount of elite talent surrounding Jokic is going to be a nightmare for the scrambling defense to recover to. Bogdan Bogdanovic can attack the rim against just about anyone, pull it from deep, or create his own looks off the dribble. Nikola Jovic is a massive forward who can finish tough shots inside. Filip Petrusev has a soft shooting touch from the paint and beyond the arc. Alexa Avramovic can score in a variety of ways off the dribble and in crowds. Tristan Vukcevic is able to bully inside or knock down the long ball. And honestly, the list just keeps going on. This is a crazy talented team with great size and length, great coaching, and some of the best basketball minds on the hardwood. They will be contending for the podium. Moving on to Group B, the team I have finishing 6th will be Great Britain. Team GB has not made much of an impact in basketball up to this point. In fact, they have never even appeared in a EuroBasket tournament until 2009, but have at least been a regular ever since. Unfortunately, they don't have any NBA or EuroLeague talent on their roster to speak of. Their best player appears to be Akwasi Yeboah, a wing who competes professionally in the Italian Lega. He provides truly elite three-point shooting, which if given enough opportunities can keep his team close in any game, but he is just one man with one elite skill. Carl Wheatle, also of the Italian Lega, is their team captain and point guard, but his impact in the tune-up matches was frankly awful. He was solid in the qualifiers though, so hopefully he can re-find his shooting touch, but honestly I worried the improved defenses he is now going up against is too much for him to overcome. Other than them, they don't really have anyone else worth diving into. It's really unfortunate. Great Britain has some noteworthy players out there like OG Anunoby, Tosan Evwoma, and Amari Williams, but none have shown interest in competing with their senior national team. It is a shame. Taking 5th, I have Sweden. This is their first time competing in the EuroBasket since 2013, meaning they are largely an unknown on the international stage. Sweden have been decently competitive in their tune-up matches though, which should give them some confidence going into the tournament. Pelle Larsson is easily their most talented player. The NBA guard can create looks off the dribble, knock down the three ball, and his size and basketball IQ help him defend multiple positions. He has been their leading scorer in their tune-up matches by a wide margin. But for them to pull off an upset and break into the 16-team bracket, they will need somebody else to step up. At least on the interior, they will be able to count on their big man Simon Biergander. He is a strong and decently nimble 5 who will be crucial for them against the elite big men in this group. Biergander is a near double-double threat in the Spanish Liga ACB and has been a monster in the paint and FIBA play. But they need floor spacing, and with this, they don't have many options. Biergander's pro teammate Ludvig Håkansson may be their best long-range marksman as he hit 38% of his looks last season, but if they want to do something incredible in this tournament, it'll need to be a team effort. Though Sweden's team is not that strong, they won't be a cakewalk either. Look out for them surprising one of the top dogs who may not take them seriously enough. But assuming there is no crazy upset, taking 4th, I have Montenegro. The tiny Balkan nation has been punching above their weight class ever since becoming their own country back in 2006. But they still have yet to finish within the top 8 of the EuroBasket, and 2025 may be their last real chance for a while, as their country's most dominant player, Nikola Vucevic, is now 34 years old and likely won't compete again. Vucevic is a crazy good player on the FIBA stage. His 19.8 rebound per game average at the 2023 World Cup was only matched by 4 total players. He is extremely strong and skilled on the block, can space the floor with a reliable long shot, and rebounds as well as anyone. But it will come down to what the guys around him do that determine if they can make any noise this year. And thankfully, Montenegro does have quite the cast of guys entering the prime of their careers. Former NBA big Marko Simonovic can score inside and out and rebound, and Adriatic League standouts Igor Drobnjak and George Jovanovic will give them real quality perimeter play and shooting they have been desperately needing. Plus, their naturalized point guard Eurocup standout Kyle Allman gives them strong ball handling, passing, and rim attacking that should go a long way. Montenegro has the tools to pull off an upset, and I am expecting some passionate effort put forth by the man in their middle. They definitely are a dark horse team. Like with Group A, the top 3 in Group B are all extremely talented and are here thinking medal or bust. But at least in the group stage, I have third place going to Lithuania. Always one of the very best teams in Europe, Lithuania unfortunately enters this edition of EuroBasket without their most dominant player, NBA star Domantas Sabonis. But this does not mean they have a hole in the middle, as fortunately for them, longtime NBA veteran Jonas Valanciunas is both available and in arguably the best form of his career. Though he is not a great shot creator, if he has the ball around the hoop, very few big men are strong enough to stop him. Plus, it helps that he can space the floor for his team with a solid deep shot. But the most impactful player on this team is the guy who will have the ball in his hands nearly every possession, Rokas Jokubaitis, the star EuroLeague point guard who can create looks in crowds, finish in a variety of ways around bigger and more athletic defenders, and of course, shoot the long ball at a great clip. The 24-year-old is entering his prime and has looked dazzling in their tune-up matches. And beyond these two, this team is decked out with good size, well-rounded shooters who compete professionally in the EuroLeague. Montius Bendius, Ignas Brazdeikis, and Davidas Servitas are all terrific shooters who have been impactful in their tune-up matches. Lithuania is going to give everyone they go up against a really hard time both inside and out. Taking second in the group, I believe, will be the host nation Finland. Maybe you don't think they'll finish quite so high because of their weaker depth, but I believe the combination of competing in front of their home fans and the fact that the face of their team, Lauri Markkanen, is in the best form of his career, is going to lead to them pulling off a couple incredible upsets. After dealing with a stifling NBA franchise that is constantly holding him back and trading away every useful teammate of his, you bet Markkanen is looking to remind the world just how talented an all-around player he is. Through the 3 tune-up matches he has played up to the point of me working on this, Markkanen has averaged 40 points and 8 rebounds per game with a 54% long ball. Now, I know I said the depth in Finland is weaker than that of Lithuania, but that doesn't mean Markkanen is alone. Olivier Camois is a solid forward who just wrapped up his first pro season in the French league. Camois can create looks, shoot the long ball, and is very versatile on the defensive end. Plus, he has been a teammate of Markkanen in FIBA for a while now. Another longtime teammate to pay attention to is Eurocup guard Sasu Salin. Believe it or not, this will actually be his 6th EuroBasket tournament, and he ranks 6th all-time in scoring in Finnish basketball history. His floor spacing will be crucial to giving his forwards room to work in the half-court set. I also want to mention Spanish ACB wing Elias Valtonen. He is both long and strong and has a sweet jumper both in the mid-range and beyond the arc. This Finnish team is a lot better than you may realize. But even without the crowd behind them, the nation winning Group B, I believe, will be Germany. This team has been on top of the basketball world for a while now. They took bronze at the 2022 EuroBasket, then shocked the world and claimed gold at the 2023 World Cup, before most recently finishing 4th at the 2024 Olympics. The face of this German team is their point guard Dennis Schroeder. The longtime NBA veteran is the complete package a coach could dream of for FIBA play. He has the strength, length, basketball IQ, and athleticism of an NBA caliber guard, plus he has dozens of FIBA games under his belt that give him a wide breadth of knowledge of the differences of the versions of the sport. But he is not alone handling the ball, as up-and-coming NBA star Franz Wagner is entering his prime. The massive point forward can create space, drive to the basket, hit mid-range looks, and of course dish beautiful passes to his teammates. These two guys alternating orchestrating their offense will be a major problem for the opposing defenses in this group, as there are very few can come close to matching up well against them. Finland, for example, is going to need to either put Markkanen or Kamwal on Wagner, which quite simply waste a lot of their energy that could be used on offense. And that's just the primary ball handlers. Germany has a whole cast of big wings, forwards, and bigs who can shoot, dribble, and defend. These include Wagner's NBA teammate and fellow up-and-comer Tristan da Silva, along with the EuroLeague veterans Isak Bonga, Oscar da Silva, Andreas Obst, and Daniel Theis. Every game Germany plays is must-see TV. Moving on to Group C, the team I have taking 6th will be the host nation Cyprus. Whereas the other home teams are going to be battling for a top spot in their pools, Cyprus is just hoping not to get their score doubled up in any of these games. To put it very frank, they are way out of their league being in this tournament. In total, they went a brutal 1-17 through the qualifiers in preparation for the EuroBasket. And that lone win came way back in round 1 of the qualifiers in the summer of 2022 against Switzerland. I honestly don't understand why FIBA is letting Cyprus compete here at all, when the precedent was already set 2 years ago when they refused Indonesia's automatic bid despite being a host of the 2023 World Cup. I think FIBA was hoping that them giving Cyprus a spot in the tournament would convince EuroLeague superstar Sasha Vezenkov to change nationalities, as he was actually born on the island, which would then bring in another big name to the event. But that didn't happen. Cyprus will instead be looking to their naturalized forward Doral Willis. He will surely lead them in scoring. And their 21-year-old point guard Philippos Tikas isn't chopped liver himself, as he's already dominating the Cypriot League. But for this team, keeping any of these matches within 30 points honestly would be a miracle. Finishing 5th will be Bosnia and Herzegovina. A bit of drama has been surrounding this team leading up to EuroBasket. First, they simply have not been very good in their tune-up matches. 2 losses to China, a major blowout loss to Serbia, and a double-digit L to Montenegro before they got their first win against Great Britain in front of their own home fans. Second, after electing to not invite NBA veteran and former NCAA Player of the Year Luka Garza to be their naturalized player, their preferred choice, Eurocup point guard Xavier Castaneda, has been cut from the team due to a minor injury that has been holding him back on the court. So now, less than a week away from tip-off, they are turning to a new point guard, John Roberson of the Turkish Basketball League, which isn't even Turkey's highest league. Another problem they are dealing with is the conditioning struggles of their supposed best player, NBA veteran Jusuf Nurkic. After dealing with an inconsistent role in the NBA this past year, Nurkic has clearly fallen off on the court. He misses way too many bunnies, he is slow getting up and down the floor, and his passes, which were once dazzling, have become very sloppy. The whole reason their head coach wanted a point guard over Garza was because they already had Nurkic inside, but that looks like it may have been a mistake. And lastly, their actual best player, EuroLeague star wing Zanan Musa, will also not be competing due to injury. So they will be turning to their lesser-known guys way more than they surely hoped. Bosnia is in for some very difficult games. Taking 4th and moving on, I have Georgia. Like Bosnia and Cyprus before them, Georgia has had a rough time in their friendly tune-up matches. They currently sit 0-5 as of me preparing this, and what's worse, one of their best players, longtime EuroLeague star Tornik Shengelia, has stepped away from the team for at least the past week, and nobody seems to know when or if he'll be returning for the tournament. Whether he comes back or not, his absence from training will definitely hurt their on-court chemistry. But Georgia is at least very fortunate to have 2 NBA caliber big men anchoring their team on both ends. Goga Bitadze is an excellent interior force who rebounds and passes well and can knock down the occasional 3. And Sandro Mamakhalashvili brings a very well-rounded offensive game that should fit well alongside Goga. These 2 very skilled, strong bodies are going to be a handful for their opponents in the group. And they even have even more quality big man depth, as EuroLeague veteran Georgi Shermadini has played very well in their tune-up matches, even leading their team in scoring on at least 2 occasions. Georgia is not as strong around the perimeter though. Their naturalized point guard Kamar Baldwin of the EuroLeague has struggled with his shooting over the past year and is not a great defensive player. If he has a hard time around the perimeter, then Georgia's bigs aren't going to be able to make up for it in their games. Georgia is usually a dark horse team in the European tournaments, but this year's bunch doesn't have me as optimistic. Taking 3rd, though you may think I am foolish, I have Spain. One of the most decorated national teams in European basketball since 2000, Spain always puts up a very good fight and usually overperforms. Believe it or not, they have medaled in each of the last 7 EuroBasket tournaments. But it appears that Spanish basketball may be going through a minor lull at the moment. The national team is no longer decked out with multiple high-level NBA players. In fact, there's only a single current NBA player on the team, and that would be Santi Aldama, who is a terrific player, don't get me wrong. The taller-than-you-realize forward shoots the long ball at a crazy high rate, can score inside, rebounds and passes well, and can defend multiple positions. He's already put up extremely impressive numbers internationally. He will be Spain's standout player, but they need more than just him. Their big-name former NBA, current-day EuroLeague brothers Willy and Juancho Hernan Gomez will also be a part of this team, but both guys have been very inconsistent with their impact professionally these past 2 years. Some of their better performers in their tune-up games have been the hot-shooting EuroLeague wing Xavier Lopez Arostegui and the strong Eurocup 7-footer Jaime Padilla. But apart from them, the team doesn't really have any other standouts. Spain is always well coached though, and these players all have many reps alongside one another. Even if the names on the back of the jerseys don't jump out at you, expect them to put up a very good fight. Finishing second, I'm going with Greece, one of the most heavily talked about squads leading up to the EuroBasket. Greece truly is in medal or bust mode, and if you ask the face of their national team, Giannis Antetokounmpo, anything short of gold will feel like a failure. Obviously, Giannis is unstoppable, you don't need me to explain that to you. His ability to create off the dribble and finish at the rim is something out of a video game. He is crazy tall, long, strong, skilled, and most importantly, aggressive. Giannis plays basketball like he is going to war. Nobody wants to be the guy tasked with getting in his way. And defensively, he is a monster shot blocker, rebounder, and does a good job around the perimeter. But the game of basketball is not won by any lone individual. This Greek team is missing a few key players from years past that have me a bit worried. Instead of Georgios Papagiannis, they'll be relying on Giannis' brother Kostas Antetokounmpo, a far less proven big man who was outright waived by his Greek EuroLeague team last year. He offers almost nothing other than some alright rim protection, but he doesn't read the game well. At point guard, they don't have Nick Kalathis either. Instead, they are turning to Kostas Sloukas, who matches his shooting and passing alright, but he is not as talented a perimeter defensive player. With their naturalized roster spot, instead of Thomas Walkup, who shot lights out at both the recent World Cup and Olympics, this time they're turning to Tyler Dorsey, who is a good shooter in his own right, but he has been away from this national team for 3 years. But I will say they do have some high-level continuity that I do like. EuroLeaguers Kostas Mitoglou and Panagoitis Kalatzakis, and honestly, NBA benchwarmer Thanasis Antetokounmpo are all solid players who have been on this team before. The Greeks are not perfect, but they will be an extremely difficult out. But the team I have taking first in the group will be Italy. The Italians have been on a roll through their prep games, currently sitting at 4-0. And what's more surprising is they have pulled this off in large part to their terrific team defense, which is not usually what these guys are known for. But they have really good size, which complements their biggest strength, their shooting, quite nicely. They will be led by their longtime NBA veteran and recent Puerto Rican League champion Danilo Gallinari. The massive forward is a shot-making machine who can battle with the bigs inside and handle the ball like a guard when needed. Very few match his passion when competing with their national team. Gallo once broke a bone in his hand after getting in a fight in a friendly match. Alongside him out around the perimeter is NBA guard Simone Fontecchio. Though his role was inconsistent this past season, we have seen him be one of the very best long-range shooters the sport has to offer. He shot 45% from deep on 7 tries a game at the last EuroBasket. And their hot shooting doesn't end there, as another former NBA player, current-day EuroLeague veteran Nicolo Melli, is also a sharpshooter who can push around bigs on the inside. And I like their naturalized point guard, EuroLeaguer Darius Thompson, as he is a long floor spacer himself who can put the ball on the hardwood, drive, and create looks for others. The more time I spend looking at this roster, the more I start to believe that this team can chase a medal. The Italians aren't being talked about as much as the Greeks, but they are definitely a sneaky threat to reach the podium. And finally, Group D, taking 6th, I have Belgium. Though this is not the toughest group in the tournament, and I think Belgium could definitely defeat the other 6th place teams, regretfully, someone has to finish last. The Lions have not only never medaled in a major basketball tournament, they have only ever reached the round of 16 in the EuroBasket 3 times since 1995. But that does at least include the most recent event in 2022, so you would like to think that they might be building some momentum. Their standout player is their athletic center, Ismail Bako, who competes professionally in Russia. Bako is a bouncy athlete who can clean up misses around the rim and get some impressive weak side blocks, but he doesn't create anything for himself or shoot. Their point guard Manu Lacombe of the Polish league is a very talented ball handler and passer, but he struggles mightily with his shooting, although he has at least been on target in their tune-up matches. Speaking of which, Belgium have been the punching bags for the most part thus far, usually losing to teams resting their most noteworthy players. Their only win as of right now was against Great Britain. I think a couple of their matches have the potential to be interesting, but I just can't imagine them moving on. Finishing 5th, I'm going with Iceland. Even though they are one of only 3 teams right now with their finalized 12-man rosters already announced, Iceland is still a major unknown going into the tournament. This is only the isolated island country's 3rd ever appearance in the EuroBasket, and up to this point, they have yet to win a single game. So me putting them here is actually a pretty momentous occasion. They are led by Martin Hermansson, a EuroLeague point guard with a very sharp ball handle, good court vision, and a bag of tricks to score inside the arc. But his outside shot has been poor these past few pro seasons. They will be relying on a lot of scoring around the rim, which is where EuroCup big man Tryggvi Hlinason should be able to shine. That's a tough name to say. The massive 7-foot 1-inch, 260-pound giant is decently skilled on the block and loves to dunk everything. I know Bako from Belgium has him beat athletically, but it's hard to make up for the difference in sheer mass. I think Iceland will be trying to use the pick and roll often in their games, or just the straight up post up. Thankfully, they do have at least a couple floor spacers in John Axel Gudmundsson and Ori Gunnarsson, though they both compete professionally in some pretty low level leagues that pale in comparison to what they're going to be going up against here. Iceland has a long shot to get out of the group stage, but it's going to be tough. Taking 4th and making the knockout bracket, I believe will be the home nation Poland. Devastatingly, Poland will be without their do-it-all NBA forward Jeremy Sohan due to a controversial decision made by his club team with regards to a minor injury he has. This leaves them pretty thin at the forward position, but they do have decent bigs and guards to try to make up for it. Alexander Balcerowski of the Spanish ACB is a 7-footer who can clean up misses inside and possesses a pretty shot that stretches out beyond the arc. And their longtime EuroLeague and EuroCup point guard, Mateusz Panitka, is a brilliant floor orchestrator, passer, and shooter inside and out. He has had some spectacular moments leading their national team, including posting a triple-double and an upset victory against one of the top teams in this group, Slovenia, back in the 2022 EuroBasket. And they've got some guys who can space the floor or drive inside, like Tomasz Yellow of the Spanish ACB, Michael Michalak of the Polish League, and their naturalized player, the EuroLeague shooting guard Jordan Lloyd. This will be his first time competing with their national team. Poland is not a bad team, but they are far from the top dog of this tournament. Getting out of the group stage is a must in front of their home fans, but anything else would be a surprise. Taking 3rd, I believe, will be Israel, another team thankfully with a finalized roster. The Israelis are in pretty good form going into EuroBasket. They feature a brilliant big 3 that will lead them. First, the face of their national team, Deni Avdija, is looking to build upon the best season of his NBA career. The forward can shoot from deep, attack the rim, rebound, and pass as good as anyone out there. And defensively, though he is not elite, he is at least very versatile. Next to him, another forward, Roman Sorkin of the EuroLeague, has also played very well in their tune-up matches. His rebounding and shooting have been very tough to stop. And leading them all is EuroCup champion point guard Yam Madar. He will be counted on to orchestrate their offense and set these two up and their teammates for easy looks. Madar was one of the very best passers, shooters, and perimeter defensive players in all of Europe this past year. Now, Israel obviously does not have a perfect team. Though they have plenty of shooters and ball handlers, they lack any actual centers on this roster. The tallest player here is Sorkin at 6'10", followed by Avdija at 6'9", neither of which are particularly known for their rebounding or shot blocking. In FIBA play, the center position is extremely valuable. Cleaning up misses, limiting opponents' second chances, and the ever-important rim defense, remember there is no 3 in the key, make the 5 a must for medal contending. We'll see if the stellar guard and forward play on this team can make up for this hole though. Taking second in this group, I have Slovenia. A very fortunate draw puts Slovenia in a pool that should be relatively drama-free. Like this group, Slovenia is an extremely top-heavy team. Luka Doncic is one of the greatest basketball players on the planet. His combination of ball handling, shooting, and passing at his size and with his strength and confidence make him almost unstoppable. But even the most gifted passers need teammates who can create separation or knock down their looks. And that is where Slovenia falls short. This team lacks a single high-upside EuroLeague level player with the exception of guard Klemen Prepelic, who spent last season in the Adriatic League. Slovenia in their tune-up matches looked competitive while Luka was on the court, but the moment he needed rest, they would fall apart. They have lost all 4 of their warm-up games as of me preparing this by double figures. And sure, they have played some tough teams, but you have to be or at least be competitive with these squads if you want to take home a medal. I think a lot of Americans overhyped Slovenia's national team because they claimed gold in the EuroBasket back in 2017 when Luka was only 18 years old. But that team was led by NBA star Goran Dragic and featured NBA and EuroLeague veteran Anthony Randolph. Both of them have since retired, and the new crop of Slovenian talent is simply not as good. Apart from Prepelic, I would say the only other noteworthy guys on this roster is the French League standout Grigor Hrvat, Spanish ACB role player forward Ido Muric, and Euro Cup backup big man Alan Omic. All 3 of which, mind you, are on the wrong side of 30. When the going gets tough, which it eventually will, Luka Doncic gets emotional and it throws off his game. Though I think Slovenia will defeat the 4 teams behind them relatively easily, when the knockout bracket comes, that is where we will see this team's true colors. Taking first in Group D will almost undoubtedly be France. This is a really good French team. All 12 guys on their finalized roster competed in either the NBA or the EuroLeague last season, and some of them were a part of that senior national team last summer that took the silver medal at the Olympics. Their team captain, NBA power forward Gershon Yabusele, is a monster on the court. He was second on their national team in scoring last summer. His strength, long arms, and leaping ability make him a ferocious rebounder and finisher inside. Plus, he possesses a beautiful shooting stroke from deep. Also returning from last year is fellow NBA forward Bilal Koulibaly and EuroLeague standouts Isaiah Cordinia and Matthew Strazel. Plus, they are adding a few young guys to the national team this go-around as they usher in the next generation of French hoops. The 2024 top 2 NBA draft picks, Zachary Rissache and Alex Sarr, will both be making their major tournament senior team debuts. These guys have a lot of experience already competing alongside one another with the French junior national team. In fact, there are a lot of young talented players on this squad to pay attention to as we enter the next World Cup and Olympic cycle. Rissache, Sarr, Strazel, Koulibaly, plus NBA guard Theo Maledon are all 24 years or younger. Someday when Victor Wembanyama returns to the national team alongside perhaps 2025 draft picks Noah Essendje and Yohan Bedenze, this team may be on top of the world. But for now, in this in-between year, they are still one of the top teams in Group D. And that wraps up pool play. Now we are going to punch these teams into the final bracket and predict some outcomes. I'm not going to spend as much time here since this video is already plenty long enough, and these are only single games, so who knows what can happen any given night. Please remember, this is all just for fun. I understand feeling passionate about your national team, but let's try to be civil in the comments. Also, a reminder, all of these games from here on out will take place in Latvia, which may or may not matter for certain teams. Round 1. Finland versus Turkey. Right off the bat and throughout this round, there are going to be a number of teams that will be eliminated that I am sure many people think will be contending for a medal. It is high stakes, highly competitive basketball. Not everyone is going to walk away happy. I think Turkey will win this game. Lauri Markkanen may drop 50 points, but as a whole, I think Turkey is the better team. Italy versus Poland. If Poland had Jeremy Sohan, this game would be better, but either way, I don't think the Poles have enough firepower to match what the Italians have. Give me Italy. Serbia versus Montenegro. Nikola Vucevic's last EuroBasket will be a duel with the best player on the planet, Nikola Jokic. These two guys will be very productive, and it will be a lot closer than I think you guys think it should be at halftime. But ultimately, Serbia is going to win this game. Slovenia versus Spain. And here is where the drama lies, an epic duel between two passionate teams. Will Luka Doncic carry Slovenia out of round 1, or will Santi Aldama and company pour on too many points for them to make up? I think it's going to be the latter. Give me Spain and a Luka Doncic fourth quarter ejection while we're at it. Germany versus Czechia. Yeah, there's no way Germany loses this game. Sorry Czechia, but at least you made it to the round of 16. Greece versus Israel. Nobody on Israel's team matches up well with Giannis Antetokounmpo, but the three-point shooters of Israel aren't going to go down without a fight. But give me Greece. Latvia versus Lithuania. The Battle of the Baltics will be a great game. I expect Lithuania's fans to fill out a large portion of the Latvian arena. Both sides will be playing some of the most passionate ball we'll get to see in this tournament, but only one can win, and I'm going to go with Latvia. And finally, France versus Georgia. A bit of an anticlimactic end to round 1. I cannot imagine this game being very close. France is going to win by a good chunk. Round 2. Turkey versus Italy. Another really tough game to call. As you already know, I like Turkey's interior force, but I also really like Italy's shooters. But shooting is a funny thing. Sometimes the shots don't go in. I think Turkey is going to win this game. Serbia versus Spain. A pretty cool matchup of the former kings of Europe versus the current. Though I expect a well-coached game that will likely be close for a while, I think Serbia is going to pull away in the second half. Germany versus Greece. Oh boy, this is a really exciting one. Germany has the advantage outside, but nobody has the edge on Giannis on the interior. But Germany does have some pretty good big bodies that as a collective could cause some problems for Greece. Of course, Greece is no pushover with their shooters either. But only one team is going to have more points at the end, and I think it's going to be Germany. And lastly, Latvia versus France. This game will be very good. Even though France has the prettiest medal and one of the best rosters going into this tournament, there is something about this Latvian team that cannot be ignored. Kristaps Porzingis is on a mission, and I don't think France has a single guy on their team who can stop him. Give me Latvia. Semifinals, Turkey versus Serbia. Nikola Jokic versus Baby Jokic. These two teams are going to have fans that will travel well and make a lot of noise in that stadium. Who knows, we may see a little extracurriculars on the court or in the seats as the tempers surely flare with the stakes so high. It's another game that can go either way, but I am taking Serbia to come out on top. Germany versus Latvia. Can the Germans reclaim glory, or can Latvia stun the world in front of their home fans? I think it's going to be a really good game, and I feel bad picking a loser, but I have Germany coming out on top. Alrighty, time for the bronze medal. Turkey versus Latvia. After 2 weeks, 8 games, and months of preparation, it all comes down to this. Only one squad will walk away with a medal in this matchup, either the powerhouse of the Mediterranean or the Cinderella story Latvians. Give me Latvia, taking home their first major basketball medal since 1939, before they were even a part of the Soviet Union. And finally, the gold medal match. Maybe you saw it coming, maybe you're surprised, maybe you're enraged. Serbia versus Germany. This game will be epic. 2 weeks, 8 official matches, and 3 years of conversation have all come down to this. I believe Serbia will take the gold medal, their first in EuroBasket since 2001, and finally, Nikola Jokic's first ever Serbian gold. Germany should not cry though. Claiming silver is a monumental feat on the continent, and being able to claim back-to-back medals in the EuroBasket is something very few countries can ever say they have done. So there you have it, my complete 2025 EuroBasket preview and predictions. In case you cannot tell, as I have been for all the continental tournaments, I am really looking forward to the EuroBasket, and honestly, this one more than the rest. The EuroBasket is an event that we only get to see now once every 4 years. It is always a ton of fun, and 2025 should be no different. Please let me know down below who you guys are rooting for, which players you are most excited to see play, and who you think will claim the 3 medals. Thank you all for watching the video all the way up until the end. Remember to like if you have not already, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I will see you all next time.